From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LALATE as for stimulus, those monthly stimulus checks that the senators and the House members want you to have, is going mainstream. Yes, mainstream media has now taken the narrative of this channel, the coverage of this channel around the clock with you about 4 stimulus checks, and have now made it front page news today. And while Bitcoin, bank earnings, treasury yields are among the other financial stories of the day, your 4th stimulus checks, reoccurring stimulus checks, is now the #1 most searched story on a major financial news network today. It shows the push and the narrative to get stimulus out the door and how quickly and how soon we need that stimulus. And it comes upon the news that it would lift 6 million Americans out of poverty. In this new video, you see the latest reactions from the White House and also the suggestions that may or may not work. You also have new video from the White House talking about 3rd stimulus and its help. Meantime, a resurgence of the virus across the board, would that impact your stimulus or not? Elsewhere, blowout earnings came in from a major bank today, and I'll have the latest details for you on that. There is a new push to revoke license of a major online trading platform. What state is going after who? I have the latest detail. And why is one cryptocurrency likely to cause the crash of the industry, as many have seen its run up of 400% in just the last few days? It's not Bitcoin. I'll explain which it is and how it could ultimately impact your stimulus if this is the bubble about to burst for crypto. This is a major recording about your 4th stimulus, your 3rd stimulus, your student loan debt forgiveness, your EIDL grant, and more. And this is Afternoons LALATE. What a big afternoon it is as we go into the weekend. I'm ready to crash the waves and crash the stimulus. Crash the weekend, crash the waves, crash the stimulus. And let's get to it. Thank you for joining me on Afternoons LALATE. This is the 2nd of 2 afternoon shows. Coming up after this is Evenings LALATE. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. What a big day it has been for 4 stimulus. Boy. You have seen how this channel has remained on point. I don't ever get off point. I may cover other subjects along the line, but I don't get off a point. I have stayed on 4 stimulus. I was the first on 4 stimulus, and I've been hitting 4 stimulus hard and hard every single day. And what has now happened? We have been noticed. Broadcast media is now running 4 stimulus out of nowhere. While other people left the discussion and went off to talk about other subjects, now broadcast media sees the power of this channel and you, Purple Power, and it is now the #1 most searched story on a major financial news network. This is huge for getting 4 stimulus to the finish line. It has nothing to do with me. It has something to do with you. When broadcast media puts 4 stimulus front page news, it means there's a push underway. Second, that graphic which you just saw also showed it is the #1 searched story on a financial news channel today, a major one. What does that mean? Among all the other things that people could look for financial news today, whether it's Bitcoin or whether it's a treasury yield, the housing market or the tech market, they want to hear about 4 stimulus checks, and they absolutely want to hear it. So what was the coverage about today, and what did it discuss? Exactly what you and I have been discussing. The senatorial plan, the House plan, the Democrats and the president. Who's saying what, and what are they saying, and how does it contrast and compare? Let's go over it together right now. The Senate plan is slightly different than the House plan. The House plan proposes to give you a stimulus check for pandemic plus 1 year. So meaning a stimulus check for the rest of this pandemic plus 1 year thereafter. That could amount to about 18 months of stimulus checks. If there's 6 months left of this pandemic, if there's more, it's even more than 18 months. The Senate plan is about 6 months of checks from when the bill becomes law till December. How does the plan differ? It differs on who's supporting it. The House members are more progressives, and the senators are more the movers and shakers. The amounts differ slightly as well. The House plan pays you more money because it's more months of checks. But the Senate plan pays you faster, more money earlier on. Basically, you would get less money from the Senate, but get the money faster because it would pay faster. Let me show you how this works out. The House are proposing $2,000 the first month and $1,000 per month thereafter over 18 months. That's about $18,000. But it would take 18 months to get that $18,000. Let's look at the senators. They want to pay you a lot more money and pay it to you over a shorter period of time. So if they paid you $2,000 a month, they would get $12,000 in your hand in 6 months, compared to the House members who would get $18,000 in your hand in 18 months. Big difference, 18 months versus 6 months. This is where the numbers are landed. A new report out today suggests, actually not today, yesterday, from the Federal Reserve suggests that people don't spend all their stimulus check. They at most spend about 50% of their first, second, third stimulus check. So that signals that people would prefer the Senate plan. In all the videos I've been asking viewers, do you like the Senate plan, less money but faster? Or do you like the House plan, more money but slower? Viewers say faster. I want the Senate plan. I agree, and I think that's consistent with what the Federal Reserve says. People save the money. They use the money for their savings going long term. And ultimately, they do spend a little bit of the money. This week, we saw why stimulus is needed, and that result was the retail sales numbers. Let's go over what retail sales showed this week and why it's important to understand that retail sales are spurred by stimulus. Retail sales came in this week, and boy, did they have a blowout. Look at this number. In February, they fell 3%. Okay, let's analyze that. February, they fell. People got their $600 second stimulus check in January. Some got it in December, but almost everyone got it in January. So in January, the retail sales numbers were strong. They were spending that $600. It doesn't take a long time to spend $600. By February, they had no stimulus check. So February retail sales fell 3%. Wall Street expecting March to surge. Now understand, in March, you don't have the stimulus check. Most viewers did not have the stimulus check until April. Well, guess what? Look at this graphic. March, we had a blowout of 10% of retail sales. Wall Street is expecting only 6%. This is incredible, great support for the notion of stimulus checks for this economy. 9%, the economy saw a 9%, 10% growth in retail sales in March with no one getting yet the third stimulus check. April is the month that's going to show the impact of you getting this $1,400 third stimulus check. And imagine how good the number's going to be. This is why you need stimulus checks. A new report came out today, and that report, again, was featured in that broadcast news channel that talked about why forced stimulus would help millions and millions of Americans. Look at this new report. It's a report from the Urban Brookings Center that said monthly fourth stimulus checks would lift 6.6 million people out of poverty. My goodness, that's enormous. That's not to say that only 6.6 million Americans are impacted by a stimulus check. It's basically to say that of them, 6.6 million would jump out of poverty. Incredible, great news. The day started with superb earnings reports again. Every time I tell you good earnings reports, you know what your reaction should be. Get it done. Get that bill done, LALATE. Get the bill done quickly. Look at all these blowout earnings reports. You don't want to risk it. You don't want the bill sitting around too long because of these incredible earnings reports. What I got to tell you is that this week we learned something, that no one knows what's going on with this economy, that it is growing, it is booming, but no one knows how fast it's booming. And if anyone tells you they know how fast they're booming, they're lying to you because they simply just don't know. If Wall Street, that pays analysts hundreds of thousands of dollars per year as a salary for just a single person to predict things, can't get it right, No one else can get it right. Look at what happened today with Morgan Stanley. The brokerage house, the investment banking firm, Morgan Stanley, in 2020, its Q1, its first quarter 2020 earnings profits was 1.75 billion. Look at today. My goodness. 4.1 billion? This is just insane. And remember, Q1 2020, to just explain to you, Q1 2020 was before pandemic hit. So that was January, February, March. It was before the pandemic took the impact on its business. This is jaw-dropping. This is not out of the ordinary. If you've been with me all this week, you've seen this number and this pattern repeat itself. Wells Fargo, boy, if you want a stock to watch, if you're interested in learning a little bit about investing, look at the Wells Fargo stock chart. But you'll see its impact on your stimulus. Look at this. Wall Street was projecting Wells Fargo's Q1 earnings to come in at 0.70 this week. Doubled it. 1.0. And if you think Wall Street can't predict how strong this economy is booming, then look at this number, Goldman Sachs, later this week. Wall Street said that, yeah, Goldman's doing well. We'll predict 10.22 a share, which is huge. No, Goldman came in double that, nearly $19 a share. Boy, what does it say for you? It means that, one, this economy is rebounding faster than anyone knows. Second, you don't know the rate of rebounding. If there's something that I can make very clear in today's videos is that there is a rebounding economy. You can't dispute these numbers, but we don't know the rate and speed of the rebounding. And this is something I've not made clear until this recording, the rate of speed of the rebounding you're seeing in these numbers is resulting from second stimulus, not from third stimulus. These numbers you're seeing are through March. People did not have a March check in their hand. Banks were not impacted by stimulus checks through March. There was no stimulus in this economy, third stimulus in March. It came in April in some parts, and some people didn't even get it to late April. So these huge growth numbers don't even have the fire underneath their feet, a third stimulus yet. April's numbers, folks. April's numbers could literally be through the roof. So you want this bill to get to the Senate as soon as possible. You know, it's important for you to understand what's going on here. Let me jump back to that graphic for stimulus. Who would get this for stimulus? If you make $75,000 or more, this is you. This is you. If you're a household of 4 or less, this is you. If you're on SSI or SSDI, Social Security or Railroad benefits, this is you. This is the single biggest payout of anything for viewers of this channel that you have ever seen. I think over the last week, I've been successful in helping viewers distract themselves or detach themselves from thinking about other things. You know, it was January where I always had maybe 90% of the comments, what about SSI or $200 a month? Over the last week, I said, can you please stop asking about $2,400 when someone wants to give you $12,000? It looks, yeah. Someone wants to give you $12,000, you're asking for your $2,400. Ask for where the hell is your $12,000. Stop asking for your $2,400. Ask for your $12,000. Don't get behind something. Give every support you can for someone who wants to give you $12,000 and make sure they give it to you. Because now is the time. Now is the time. And today you see how my pushing, your pushing, viewers of this channel, Purple Power, is working. Because suddenly, out of nowhere, as people have left this subject matter, they've gone off to coverage other subjects. They're off talking about doggy coin and everything else. They have left you to fend for yourself for the rest of this year. They're no longer covering stimulus. I stayed with you. We stayed as a family. And guess what? It paid off. Because look what? It is now front page news. It is now front page news on a major financial news channel today with them saying this is a big issue. And not only is it front page news, it is the #1 most read story on that broadcast news channel, meaning that everyone wants to know about it. Boy, what a big week. Now, in this recording, I'm also going to go over other things that are happening. First, I want to go over that next week, you're going to see a lot of side proposals to force stimulus. I want you to know that none of them are seeing light of day. They're not going to happen. I'll explain to you what they are and why they're not going to show light of day. The first one is called the Salt Caucus. A little salty, you're gonna get a high sodium content from this one. But the Salt Caucus is a small group of people who we don't even know if it's even 5 people. But they're House members that want to put something in the fourth stimulus package. Here's what you need to know: is that they're too small a group to push the microcosm or the compass of where fourth stimulus is going. So you don't need to really worry about them. They're too small a group. They include both Republicans and Democrats. But of the Democrats, they're too small in number to be of a concern. Second, you're going to see a series of questions about Senator Chris Coons' proposal to split the fourth stimulus into 2 bills. I mean, this is so ridiculous. It's just ridiculous on top of ridiculous. If you don't know, fourth stimulus is actually already a split bill. Fourth stimulus was previously a larger bill, and it was split into 2 halves. Fourth is now, which is what I'm talking with you, and fifth is in September. I'm not even covering fifth stimulus because it's in September. It's fifth stimulus is the families and more money for families and children and things like that, and yeah, probably more stimulus checks. But that's fifth stimulus. Chris Coons came in and said, let's split fourth into 2 more bills. No, it's just not going to happen. I mean, I just see Chuck Schumer saying, "What is he doing here?" I just see Chuck Schumer saying, "I just want a recon with a parliamentarian so that we're covered. Why would you give me another bill? I don't have enough. I don't want to keep on using up all my recons for you, Chris." I can just see Chuck Schumer say that. But the president's team has to be respectful to Chris Coons because it is a very old friend of his. Not to say that he's going to get his way, but let's see that exchange about Chris Coons' proposal today.
All of us into the president. Kristen, did you have another question before we go back? Oh, I'm sorry, and we didn't get to you, and I didn't mean to, but we can quickly go, and then we'll go to Aaliyah.
Okay,
Go ahead.
just really quick, I know we've talked about perhaps the possibility of splitting up the infrastructure bill, but just yesterday, one of the president's allies on Capitol Hill, Senator Chris Coons, really floated the idea of splitting it between, just a traditional roads and bridges infrastructure package, and then another one with everything else in the American Jobs Plan. Is that something that the White House is seriously considering?
I would say that the president's going to have a bipartisan meeting next week and a number of meetings next week where the jobs plan is going to be central to that. There are a lot of proposals floating around there. One of them is from Senator Coons, who of course is a close ally of the president, but there are a lot of different proposals out there. So he is very open to hearing different ideas, hearing different ways to get these big ideas he's put forward, this historic investment to modernize our infrastructure, create millions of jobs forward. The mechanisms for that, the construction of it, the pieces that it could flow through, he's very open to what that looks like.
And her message is very, very clear. The answer was, would he do Chris Coons' plan? Well, let me just vaguely say, there's a lot of proposals out there. No. No, she basically said there's a lot of proposals. Everyone has a proposal. There's a suggestion box in the corner in the Oval Office. Just put your suggestion in there, Chris Coons. So it's not going to see light of day. I wanted you to know about it, so ultimately you are informed about what it is. Now, what you did hear in that recording is the president's going to have more bipartisan meetings next week. That is where you need to push purple power, because every week that goes by that there's more bipartisan meetings and no reconciliation bill starting, you want to push. Because remember, the president is not going to propose monthly stimulus checks. He's not against them. He's just not going to propose it. It's not on his list. The senators and the House members who write the bill, they actually write the bill, not the president. They're going to put it in there if it's by recon. Now, you need to get this going, and you need to get this going by recon as soon as possible. And that every month that passes costs you a stimulus check. Coming up later in this recording, we're going to see new video from the White House talking about third stimulus. I'll also go over what's going on with states and some of your third stimulus. Where is it? It's not there yet. I'll explain why this is a big issue. Also, a new report from the CDC about the resurgence of the virus. And then I also have new details about one of the major trading apps that could lose its license in the state of Massachusetts. Who is that? And why is it happening? I have all those details and more. But first, here's a little bit about the community page, as Sir Lloyd would say. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues next on LALATE at Evenings LALATE coming up in 2 hours from now. That's Evenings LALATE at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Following after that is our new hit show, LA Late Night. It's an irreverent take on stimulus featuring Sirloin and Javita Late. Their impressions of the today's events and breaking news stories as through their eyes and through their hooves and through their scarves as well. If they can see through the scars, then they can certainly tell you about their stimulus. How are you? It's Afternoons LA. Hope you're having a beautiful afternoon day. You made it to the weekend. Congratulations. Ready to crush the casino. I'm so excited you're joining me. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We're approaching our 1-year anniversary on April 25th. Can you imagine? It just feels like yesterday when I pressed record on an empty beach during a lockdown on April 25th, 2020. And we're approaching that 1-year anniversary, trying to get to 400,000 subscribers. Give us a subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Share these videos. Tag your elected officials. Also, like this video. Let's try to do 2,000-3,000 likes. And if you're not become a member, consider becoming a member. Membership would have gotten you a copy of Ron Wyden's bill as soon as it came out this week. Ron Wyden has proposed a new bill. He's introduced it to the Senate. He actually hasn't proposed it. He wrote it and introduced it to the Senate. That would pay $6,000 to you per year. How does this work? PUA, FPUC, and PUEUC are expiring in September and are likely gone. Also likely gone, eviction moratoriums and mortgage forbearance. They're not going to continue past September as well. So what does he want to do? He wants to extend PUA in something new, a new idea. The new idea would pay $250 a week for 6 months per year. So up to $6,000 every year. If you're an independent contractor, gig worker, sole practitioner, or Uber or Lyft, something like that. You don't get any benefits at all from unemployment because you're not an employee. You're not a W-2. You're a 1099. You're getting a PUA now, but when PUA is gone, then what? He thinks it's not fair. I agree with him. It's a great idea. So the federal government would pay this, not your state. The federal government would send you a check of $250 a week for up to 6 months per year. So up to $6,000 per year. Really great. It's not a lot of money, but it's better than nothing, and it's very, very good. Coming up later in this recording, I'll explain what's going on with student loan debt forgiveness and also business grants. But let's cut back to that fourth stimulus. And first, I want to talk a little bit about third stimulus for just a second. The third stimulus, as you know, I was correct nearly a month ago in telling you Wave 5 would hit this week. And it did. It hit on Wednesday. 2 million checks were sent out for third stimulus this Wednesday. Of them, there were only 300,000 for veterans. The rest were SSI, SSDI, anyone who doesn't file a tax return or a non-filer filing tool. That was this Wednesday. So is there another round of stimulus checks going out this Friday? We'll know tomorrow. So if you go to your IRS tool tomorrow, Saturday, and see a pending check for you and have not gotten it, please send me a private message on social media so I know that that's happening. We won't officially know from the White House until this following Wednesday, when the press secretary is usually very good in telling us if another round of stimulus checks went out. Meantime, mail checks are very late. The March 26 mail checks are almost 3 weeks late. They're still landing, so don't worry. All right, let's cut back to forced stimulus. Forced stimulus needs to hit sooner rather than later. This was one of those weeks where there was so much good news, and you would really have to struggle to find bad economic news. There was literally almost no bad economic news. The only item you could see was the COVID number of cases. COVID number of cases is now at the highest level since summer of 2020. Okay, but is it affecting the economy? It's not. And that's why it's important to understand that this is where we were a week ago, and it's not where we are now. We had incredible good news across the board this week. Look at what happened this week. First, we had the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, come in on Tuesday. I told you it was going to be high. I was right. It was the highest number since August of 2018. That was the first one. Then we had one of the most successful IPOs of 2021, Coinbase, which went out on, I believe it was Wednesday. We had tech rallying across the board, the FANG stocks, Apple, Amazon, as well. Then we had the blowout that started on Thursday when the new unemployment claims came in. Boy, I mean, it's an incredible number. It was the lowest number of new unemployment claims since March of 2020. And Wall Street was expecting 710. It was 576. I mean, I've been recording with you for 40 weeks. I have never, ever had a number for you below 700,000. It's a godsend. It's so wonderful that people have gotten their jobs back. And for everyone that says, no, it's because states are asking you to recertify, it's not true, because continuing unemployment claims fell nearly 1 million people. People got off unemployment, literally are off the system. They yanked their application because they are now employed. California dropped 100,000, Virginia or Ohio, Texas. And then came the retail sales numbers. I mean, economic good numbers across the board. February, we saw a drop of retail sales, and then March, through the roof, 10%. And if that wasn't enough, then we had all the businesses reporting earnings this week. What we learned this week was that whether you are Wells Fargo or JP Morgan, here's Wells Fargo, look at these numbers, doubling earnings based upon what they expected, or Goldman Sachs, doubling what they expected. Look at these numbers. The numbers just continued literally to today. Today, Morgan Stanley reported numbers, and look at this. It's just incredible. Highest, tripling their profits from the quarter a year ago. And you see what's going on. You see the reality that's setting in. The reality is time is of the essence. You need the stimulus package before Congress as soon as possible. Yes, the economy is not recovered. Yes, there is 8 million jobs missing. We won't know where that number is until the end of this month when we get the new jobless number. Will it be 6 million missing? Will it be 4 million missing? Will it be 2 million missing? We don't know, but there is currently known 8 million missing. It works for stimulus. Also, you saw the graphic before, 16 million unemployed. There are still 16 million unemployed. You need stimulus. So what will be the number of unemployed people in 1 month from now? 5 million? 4 million? 10 million? No one knows. And if anyone says they know, they're lying to you. They simply don't know. We don't know the rapid growth of this economy. In all the numbers, one of the things you saw consistent for purposes of forced stimulus was no one could predict the numbers right. They were off, very wrong. The estimate was here, and the number came in through the roof. That's why stimulus needs to go out the door. Democrats want you to have monthly stimulus checks. Even the most progressive of progressive wants you to have a stimulus check. But at some point, when the economy is fully rebounded, it will look illogical to ask for stimulus checks if everyone is back to work, if everyone's rebounded and everything is happening. And while we originally thought that wasn't until January, it's definitely not going to be in January anymore. It's definitely going to be this year. You don't want to risk. Let's go back to that graphic on the time frame. And let's go back to that graphic on the amount of the fourth stimulus checks per month. It's important to see how that July data is so important for you. Here we go. Look at that. You want that to go out ASAP. Viewers have asked me, can we get this bill faster? Yes. I would love this bill to start recon next week. You know, the press secretary said the president's continuing bipartisan negotiations next week. But I want this to start recon as soon as possible. It takes 2 months. You know, we're in April, May, June. You know, get it out the door in June. You don't want this to push up. You don't want the president to keep on doing the bipartisan dance step. And then suddenly you're outside that 2-month horizon and you're looking like you're not going to get this done to September. You want this push purple power to happen. Other breaking news today, boy, Robinhood. Massachusetts regulators have sought to revoke Robinhood's broker license. That's far from over, that story. Then Dogecoin. It's likely to burst the crypto bubble. It is up 400% on a day in which Bitcoin was down, Ethereum was down, about 3%, not much. But boy, Dogecoin has gone up 400%. It is completely a speculative buy. It has no valuation, and it is believed to be held by just a few major holders, and that a major sell could tank it within a second. It is really not where you want to be. Meantime, the president had a new series of videos out today, one from the vice president talking about the need for third stimulus for families and mothers. Let's listen to this video.
Women of color, they lose their jobs. There are 164,000 fewer child care jobs now than there were last year. Number 3, without consistent, affordable child care, parents, mostly mothers, are not able to go back to work. In fact, about 2 million women have been forced to leave the workforce, many due to child care challenges. And number 4, children lose the safe, nurturing learning environment that they need to grow. The strength of our country, the resilience of our economy, depends on the affordability and availability of child care. Today, we are enrolling $39 billion and announcing $39 billion that will go to states and tribes and territories. These funds will help child care centers and family child care providers to reopen or stay open by helping to cover rent or mortgage payments, utility, and insurance payments.
Let me actually respond to that, because this is very interesting. There's a new news report out today that says that this is not particularly accurate. The new report out today on a major financial news channel says that second stimulus money for rent, utilities, mortgage, and homeowners money has still not landed in states from the federal government, and that the third stimulus money for rent, utilities, mortgage, and homeowners assistance is not going to land until May. Clearly, this video, from today in April is making it sound like that money is going to be available. There's been a big problem with the federal government getting this money to local jurisdictions. I had one viewer who's in Florida who says he's having problems finding it for mortgages. He's absolutely right. The graphic shows there's nothing in Florida currently, even from second stimulus. They don't know what's going on. California, on the contrast, they do have second stimulus, and in some cases, even third stimulus. So very unclear across the board. The video here makes it sound like it's happening and the money's coming. They're having problems even getting the second stimulus money to states as well. Meantime, new video from Dr. Walensky that talks about where we are on COVID. There's about an 8% increase of COVID cases currently, and we're at the highest level since summer of last year. So why is this still growing? Let's listen in.
1,622 cases of COVID-19. Our 7-day average is up to 69,500, nearly 70,000 new cases per day. I know case numbers may seem similar from day to day, but just 4 weeks ago, our 7-day average was only about 53,000 cases per day. In concert with the increase in cases, the 7-day average of emergency department visits, hospital admissions, and hospitalizations are all approximately 5 to 8% higher than they were in the prior 7-day period. And sadly, average daily deaths have increased for the 3rd day in a row to over 700 per day.
Meantime, coming up later tonight is Evenings LALATE. It's in 2 hours from now, and I look forward to seeing you. That's in 2 hours from now is our big hit show, Evenings LALATE. I'll have big new updates about your forced stimulus, student loan debt forgiveness, also EIDL grant, 2 bombshells you're only going to hear on this channel about EIDL grant and business grants. Then 2 hours after that is LA Late Night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where Jovita Late and Sirloin give their opinions of and take of the current state of stimulus across the country. Join me for that fun coming up. 2 hours from now is Evenings LA, and another 2 hours after that is LA Late Night. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Thank you for joining me, and say hi if you see me in the live chat. Thank you for joining me on a big afternoon's broadcast. I'll see you in about 2 hours from now as Evenings LA hits up and kicks its feet up. Stay informed, stay focused, keep on smiling, and see you on Evenings LA.